It's I Ain't Hear No Bell. And we're out here in the Appalachians. Let me get down a little bit. We're out here in the Appalachians on our piece of land. We're here to tell you the story about that. Now, it all started when we got evicted in Connecticut. By the way, my name's Chris. This is Ellie.
Hi.
And I'm 27. She's 28.
I am.
Um, it all started when we got evicted in Hartford, Connecticut. We had an apartment and we were paying it up. Everything was fine. Everything was going great. I'm being a chef at Parkville Care Center, and we end up uh, getting into a tough situation. So my wife, she has multiple sclerosis, MS,
I do.
and due to that, it put her in the hospital for about 2 months. And this was only when my son was about 7 months old. I didn't have any family to watch him, and she didn't have any family to watch him, so I had to stay home with her son. I had to man up and stay home with her son. Um,
Um, Hi. I'm Ellie. So I was diagnosed with MS in 2019. And initially, it didn't really bother any of our life going forward because I was just diagnosed. I didn't really take it serious. So I wasn't really having any flare ups. Well, the thing about that is if you don't take care of it, it gets worse. So time goes on, and we just had our son. Our son at the time was about 6 or 7 months old, and I got a really bad flare up. And I ended up in the hospital for about 2.5 or 3 months. I missed Thanksgiving with the family, but I was able to like make it there for Christmas. But I had a heart port in, and that immediately had the baby be like, I'm no longer gonna be doing any of the stuff I'm doing because he, even at a young age, was like, that's gonna hurt you.
he stopped
He,
breastfeeding
yeah,
altogether.
he was just done with it.
So
So we're like, okay, whatever, continue going forward. And we get the eviction paperwork and the eviction letter stating like, you're past due, you need to pay. Well, okay, that's not a problem. We have the hospital records and the money to show why we haven't paid. And so that's what we went to court over, to tell them like, we have the hospital paperwork and the money set up for this because we knew this was going to happen. And that was just by different resources that were able to help us because he ended up losing his job, having to stay with our son. And I mean, we don't really have family around, so it's not like we can really do much. Well, they still weren't having it. We went to the court, they still were not having it. We still had to leave. So now the baby is about a year old or so. And we move in with his one of his colleagues, nice enough to be like, you're not going to stay on the street with the baby.
we stood with
Um,
him for about a
about a
year,
year.
and then
Um,
from there he left. We both just it was
it was,
cordial. We both
yeah,
just had to go our separate ways, and we still couldn't get an apartment because, as you guys know, if
an
you don't know,
eviction stays on your record for 7 years.
7 whole years, so you can't get
A
a
home,
home at all for 7 years, only in a low income area or
slum
a
lords.
slumlord where you pay double the amount for a cockroach infested home where there's a crack fiend laying on the hallway. You know what I'm saying? That's not really
Thanks,
something
that.
no one wants to live with. And by the way, if you're new to the channel, take a moment to subscribe. It really would mean the world to us. Now, from there, we started going from
Shelter to shelter. Um, we were in the middle of winter at that point, and it seemed like every shelter that we went to always had a reason to not truly help, but provide enough help so that way they could have their own cover. Um, so we started in Hartford shelters at first. The living conditions for that were there. It's in another video, but those living conditions were crazy. They then put us into one in New Britain, and those living situations, I mean, they weren't the best either, only because there were electrical wires that were out. The baby's still a baby. He wants to touch and put everything in his mouth, and you can't have open and exposed wire with a baby. And we were kind of just told, oh, we'll just kick it under the heater. Well, if any of you moms out there know, it doesn't matter what, when, or how, but it's getting into their mouth and into their hands, and you don't even know. So we wasn't able to stay there. Fast forward, we were able to have the MS Association, which thank you guys so much, pay for a hotel room for us to be in while we were figuring everything out. And that only got us a month. And we figured, we can try to stay in this hotel for like $2,000 a month, or we can figure out what's going on. And the figuring out what's going on is, as you can see behind me, getting the land.
Right.
And
in between the hotel and the shelter transition, we were living in our car in different Walmarts because you know 211, we tried calling 211 and asking them for assistance, but apparently we were okay because
we were in a car.
we were in a car. So that was there, and then
From there we decided, we took the leap of faith.
we started doing a lot of research in the hotel room because we needed to get a home. We needed something for our son. We needed somewhere to live. No matter what, we had to give him a normal childhood.
Something that someone couldn't just be like, go on, get.
Right. We were tired of getting kicked out from lot to lot. We were tired of trying to couch surf with a child. So we decided, we were doing some research and we found some land. Turns out land isn't that expensive.
But when you don't have a lot of money to begin with, and you end up selling everything you own, because this is your Hail Mary.
So we that's exactly what we did. We sold all of our electronics. We sold all of our good clothes. We sold
Anything that could have
value,
monetary value.
We sold absolutely everything. And now we are absolutely broke. We do not have money. At least we're getting by. We're trying to find work and do the best that we can for ourselves. Of course, we're not just bums
sitting out
here like, oh, we're trying to figure it out. And that's our story. That's where we came from. That's what we've had to do. And this is our land, Honesty Farms, and we are very, very proud to have it. We plan on holding on to it for the rest of our lives to pass down to him.
Because that's something that our parents didn't do for us, that we want to start creating generational wealth. Because yeah, we can have it, but you got to start planning for your kids and your kids' kids, and making sure that all of them have a place to stay too, so that they don't ever have to go through what you're going through.
Right. And so this is the very beginning of our journey, guys, and we're very, very happy for you to be a part of it. We're so grateful that you took the time to watch our video today. And thank you.
You can totally leave a comment if you'd like also.
We would love to hear from you guys.
We'll respond to you guys also with all that.
If you're interested to leave a like, we would love that too. And by all means, if you're new to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe. That would mean the world to us. It doesn't cost you nothing, but it changes our life. And again, thank you so much from I Ain't Hear No Bell.
I Ain't Hear No Bell.
Until next time.